Was out the other day trying to answer the question of are migrants kind of self-deporting from New York City. Did we talk about how quickly this building replaced that supermarket slash tennis? Remember that inflatable tennis thing on top of the supermarket? It's a whole block long. I guess it's going to be apartments now, but just wanted to see what's going on at these various hotels around Manhattan. Got unceremoniously cut off last time. Hopefully that's not going to happen now. But we'll check out this bus stop over here, see what the activity is like there, and then check out some of these migrant hotels. A lot of people have been reporting on changes to various see, there's a lot of radio interference going around. I'm not going to talk about what I'm doing to protect today's broadcast, but I don't know. I never know. I guess the radio pollution landscape is changing in New York all the time. Anyway, so Eric Adams. That guy's got bigger problems than just the migrants. I mean, his problems do sort of stem from that. But it seems this guy's involved in a litany of schemes. We're learning a lot about Eric Adams. He's got a turkey problem this Thanksgiving, and it's not got to do with gravy or leftovers. Tish James will take care of all that, I'm sure. His problem has to do, I don't know if people saw this. This originally came to my attention from Sal Greco at the Sal Greco on X. Yeah, if people aren't following on X, you really should. There's a lot going on there. Hi, wave to your mom or whatever. But people can follow at JG_CSTT. You can follow Sal Greco. He's a former NYPD officer. He's got a lot of very good information about Eric Adams. He finds it. But this original reporting came from this journalist. She's writing for Los Angeles Magazine. People can follow her there on X. What an article right here, talking about how this Turkish guy was sprung from jail. He's a CIA asset. So who does this sound like? And this guy, there he is with Woolsey. And remember, James Woolsey is part of that think tank, the London Policy Center. Wasn't he one of the people who signed? He might have been among the 51, you know, who were in love with Hunter Biden's laptop. He's that kind of guy. So this Turkish business dude who's somehow doing something with Eric Adams, sending him tickets, plane tickets, hotel, you know, we don't really know. All kinds of stuff. And then now the Daily News had an article. That guy, the Turkish guy, somehow is out of jail from Utah and serving food at some sort of Turkish charity festival. I don't know what that was about, but Eric Adams was there and this guy was there. Turkish business guy was there, but they say he's a CIA asset. Isn't that amazing? I mean, it sounds like Felix Sater, right? Looks like a business guy, actually intelligence asset. Let's get him all over Eric Adams. And I don't know if people saw this. There was some other reporting from Sal Greco and others that, let's just see what's going on at this bus stop over here. I don't know. It doesn't look like any different activity than usual to me, right? Flix bus. Are they showing you movies on there or something? Why is it Flix bus? I don't know. There's nothing really of interest going on with the Flix bus over there. Regular number of people there or not. This neighborhood has gotten shittier by a lot. Everything's out of business. Yeah, I mean, it's the normal amount of screaming. Anyway, what was I talking about? So we've got this Turkish businessman guy. So here, we're on 31st. Let's see what's going on at some of these other hotels. Hanging around Eric Adams. So, right, there was other reporting from Sal Greco at the Sal Greco where he found a picture of Eric Adams in a Biggie Smalls video and saying that, I think accurately, that P. Diddy was involved with that. Remember, P. Diddy was involved somehow in the killing of, Shepard was telling us, you know, Tupac, and the first time they tried to shoot him up at some studio in New York. So how long has Eric Adams known P. Diddy? And also, what's the deal? There seems to be a growing amount. Oh, there was a radio problem over here last time. There seems to be a growing amount of reporting that shows us that there are these like sheep-dipped at birth politicians. Sheep-dipped? What the hell are you talking about, Jason? A lot of people maybe haven't heard that term before. Maybe you have, or not. It's a term that I learned from studying the JFK assassination. It's an intelligence term. Sheep dipping is when you take a wolf, a military or an intelligence asset, and you dip that person in sheep's clothing. Build a plausible civilian background story for them, right? So when I say sheep dipped from birth, I'm talking about like Obama, according to Candace Owen, maybe Kamala Harris. We see some of these similarities where, you know, these people seem impossibly stupid, but yet so super duper propped up. So, I mean, Eric Adams does kind of fit that mold. Is he somebody that they've been all over for 10 or 20 years and now they've got him all wound up and they need him, you know, he does what they want or whatever? And when you step out of line, this is how they exert. This is how they make you do what they want. Madison Square Garden. New meaning for Trump supporters. It's always been there. Yeah, okay, we just can't go up. When I went up that the other day, immediately it cut it off. I might not have even broadcast that. Somehow I learned there's a radio problem over there. So, right, so anyway, Eric Adams, he's got growing problems. We saw that thing about the Turkish, so that was Los Angeles, amazing. How does Los Angeles know more about Eric Adams than New York? Who's paying attention to that? Where the hell is Tish James? Oh yeah, Mike Tyson gonna fight Jake Paul. I think he's out of his mind. You might as well stand in front of a truck. I mean, Jake Paul is out of his mind. Seems that Mike Tyson will pulverize him, I think. I don't know, people were debating this. Some people say Jake Paul. Some people say he's not a good boxer. I don't know. When I first heard he was going to be a boxer, it sounded ridiculous to me. And I mean, the fact is he's a lot better than I thought he would be. I think he's trying, right? He seems very serious, training and everything. Holy shit. So this is a hotel. This is a migrant hotel. Nobody seems to be self-deporting over here. There, if anything, we got like basically a migrant restaurant. Look here, it's a smorgasbord. Just the future of garbage, according to Eric Adams. So I don't know. That doesn't look like any kind of self-deporting. If anything, that's like a permanent move-in at that hotel, the Stewart Hotel. I think maybe this is still it, yeah. So what's this guy doing? What are you looking at, buddy? This is Elon Musk. So he's like the Trump nephew now, Elon Musk. He's everywhere with Trump. Hey, listen, I think it's great. You can hate Elon Musk or whatever. I didn't really know He's definitely avoiding my lawsuit, but the point is he's extremely effective at tackling problems. So if he wants to help you, it seems like a good idea to accept that. And there's all these people who are now like anti-Elon Musk. So here is the Flix bus heading over there, and people marveling at the fire department. Fire department backing away. But there's more about Eric Adams. It's not done just with this guy from Turkey. But it's interesting that he's come out of jail. Somehow he's serving food. He's at this same event. So they say he's a CIA asset. That's an interesting article. People can read that. I think Los Angeles Magazine, I think you can just read it. I don't subscribe to that or anything. And also that woman posted it on X. But so the other thing that's quite interesting about Eric Adams, right, there's this website, The City, that's pretty good. I think it's just independent. These guys found out that he's got these, you know, it was supposed to be this so-called small donor barbecue, but it was some fancy, I don't know what the Chinese word for soiree is, but this was a fancy French party loaded up with rich Chinese people giving a hell of a lot of money to Eric Adams. And the problem is, Sal Greco does a great job of going through how this violated the, you know, the New York election, whatever it is that gives you 8-to-1 money for these low donors. And so this has been deleted. The website, The City, downloaded these YouTube videos from just some person at this fancy party at some mansion on Long Island where they're serving sushi and caviar and showing you all that champagne there. And the thing is, they called it a barbecue, a small donor barbecue, because the idea is if you have a campaign event, he was, you know, Sal was reading the whole thing. If it's less than $500, the budget for your event, then it's okay for this election thing. Like, the idea is you're not supposed to bilk taxpayers for $8 for every dollar that you raise. I have to presume that the purpose of this thing is so that regular people could run for mayor. And if you're just like, damn it, I'm sick and tired of corruption, I'm running for mayor, I'm gonna have a barbecue and invite everybody and tell them my platform, but I can only afford, you know, 100 chickens or something. Even that, the budget would be more than $500. How are you having a barbecue? There was 200 and some odd donors who were supposedly at this barbecue, and each one of them were giving, the maximum I think is $250. So people were giving $249, and according to this article, they're getting reimbursed. So this Chinese guy, one of the people at this party, owns a mall or something. They bought an Alexander's, you know, department store and turned it into a mall. If people have been to Asia, they have these malls that are just like these single internal, it's interesting, particularly Asian kind of thing. And I guess that's what they did, because they're saying they had a banquet hall in there, and then the different people who were working at the mall were the low money donors to this barbecue, except when the city website went and interviewed those people, they said, no, we didn't go to a barbecue, and we certainly didn't go to this fancy sushi dinner at the mansion. So what it seems like is happening, this thing is explaining to us more details about these Eric Adams straw donors schemes, and I have a feeling that it wasn't just that one scheme. I think we're peering into, this guy is like a Pandora's box of schemes, one after the next. And so, I mean, you know, using private security to make sure you don't get choked by the police or whatever, I don't know, maybe you might want to do that. You could talk to Ed Caban about that. Maybe. I heard. But, so this is not stuff that Eric Adams has even been indicted for, and there's this weird, Trump has even been kind of playing into it, this sort of weird vibe going around that somehow Eric Adams, you know, he's like a Trump ally. and that they're doing this stuff against Eric Adams because he went against Biden. Well, I mean, maybe that's true. If it's that you go around that noise. You know, if it's that you sell your soul to the devil to become NYC mayor, I mean, maybe that's just it. Maybe Eric Adams knows this system is so rigged up, whatever it is that he did, it's just a small fraction. So, you know, come and do whatever. I don't know, maybe that's what he thinks. Maybe that's true. But they seem to be poised to take him out legally because he seems to be involved in a litany of schemes. So anyway, we've got that article talking about Chinese shopping mall owner. And by the way, you want to talk about laundering money. If you're a billionaire, how much does it cost to buy some out-of-business department store in Queens or wherever the hell that was happening? And, you know, turn it into some bullshit Chinese shopping mall, hire up 100 and some odd people there, 100 and some odd people elsewhere. And then part of the deal is, hey, Chinese immigrant who's not here legally and doesn't understand what the hell is going on, write your name on this paper. Here's $250 cash, or who knows what. Here's $500 cash to say, or actually give $250 to Eric Adams. Here you have space karaoke. Well, how could that miss? Who the hell opened that? So I'm saying you just hire somebody to work at space karaoke to pay them some dumbass check, launder your money through the space karaoke rental of this office or whatever, and make political contributions through that. Wow, look at those pumpkins. That's cool. But I mean, again, it's, you know, here's evidence that that's happening. That's basically what that whole article puts together. They've interviewed people. Now, wait a minute. So I'm on the dangerous, oh, no. Yeah, we got to cross and go back. I'm trying to check out 31st Street. We have so many sketchy people around here. It's nuts. So that's Eric Adams there. Just one way. And I mean, I think what I discovered with the Neighborhood Association of Intercultural Affairs, and, you know, them running this whole migrant military operation over here at the Walcott Hotel, that seems to be yet another way that he's laundering money. So, you know, all that money, I don't know, the guy just knows a million ways to wire up these schemes. You send $79 million in taxpayer, you know, money from New York City taxpayers to this Department of Social Services. That was, you know, Eric Adams, they said, hand-selected that Molly Wausau Park. And so she became the director of social services, and then $79 million of city money, and then I think 1.7 or 1.9 or something like that of federal money also went to that. And then, you know, that nonprofit paid that dude, Richard Izquierdo Arroyo, $656,000. So now that, let's say that gives that guy $500,000, like this fancy Chinese sushi party, the soiree. Now this guy's got $500,000 that he can go, what is he doing with that? You know, you could buy up $500 American Express gift cards and hand them out to people working for nonprofits to donate $249 to Eric Adams and write their name on a thing. Then that person essentially gets unknown tax-free. And isn't there, I have no evidence, by the way, that they did that, but Eric Adams seems to love these prepaid credit cards, and they stopped doing the prepaid credit cards once Trump won, right? So there's the Walcott over there. So what the hell is Eric Adams doing? is the question. We have people with the igloo coolers, organized food crime. Food organized crime. Is that the Walcott? No, because this is the Arlo over here. The Walcott's back over this way. There it is. Right, it's 4 West, so it's west of 5th Avenue. So it's difficult to understand why Eric Adams is being so defiant. I mean, I guess he knows where the bodies are buried. He's been around for a while. And P. Diddy and everything. Like maybe they're buddies. Seems to be. Oh yeah, and Kathy Hochul now is talking about bringing back this, what do they call it again? Congestion tax? Just taxing you for even driving around New York at all. It's a really great idea. Shut down the economy like crazy, make nobody want to come into the city or live here. Now, the last several times I've been here, there have been cars and people waiting. Remember, this is where the police, right? Yeah, that's the Walcott. Just got the post office there. Not really too much of anything going on over here right now. Oh, we got some ladies there with an igloo cooler. So maybe that's normal. I don't know if that's evidence of anybody self-deporting. Maybe less activity. Ah, there's an army guy. So what's the army still doing here? Hey, why is the Army here at this hotel? Are you in the Army? It's weird, right? So the Army gets in the car. Oh, I just unplugged something. The Army gets in their car when I ask them what's going on. Isn't that weird? I find that weird. Maybe that's normal. So that's interesting. The Army is... This is the police. Law enforcement police. This is a crazy Hemi. Yeah, this thing is making radio sounds when I walk past it. Ah, these guys just took something down off of their dashboard. So what the hell is going on at this hotel? Got the army, all these undercover cars, this kind of uncomfortable looking guy, that guy across the street. What the fuck is going on over here? What is going on? It's interesting, that guy's now walking away, isn't it? It's interesting. Walked in here. So that guy definitely didn't want me to see what he was doing. What is going on over there? Wow. Wow. Hotel Walcott, never a dull moment. So it seemed like the cops knew what was going on there. That's where Richard... I guess plugging the battery back in affects the sound. So that's where Richard Izquierdo Arroyo's Neighborhood Association of Intercultural Affairs is doing whatever they're doing. Looks like there's a sophisticated undercover operation going on. But, I mean, if they're trying to catch, what is it that they're doing? Because it seems like they're protecting whatever is going on over there. There should be sufficient evidence to end it by now, I would think. Wasn't that strange? I thought it was. Anyway, please sponsor this show. Go to odyssey.com/@crowdsourcethetruth, crowdsourcethetruth.substack.com, or subscribestar.com, or patreon.com/crowdsourcethetruth. It's a great way to keep independent journalism going. Did people see that they shut down Infowars.com and banned.video? That's bad. There were still some, at least one Crowdsource the Truth video on banned.video that now people can't see anymore. It had thousands and thousands of views. I can't even talk about it because the person who it was about has an illegal and unconstitutional court order against me that if I violate would trigger a litany of bad things that I could probably overcome in court, but it would be after bad things happen. So it's interesting how they work. I think more people have a sense of this now than perhaps before Trump was president. So that's an interesting, certainly, aspect, whether people like him or not. So here we have more food, organized crime, selling out of a cooler there on the corner. You know, good thing we didn't just have a pandemic where they wouldn't even let you into a restaurant. How would you feel as somebody who the city of New York forced to close down your restaurant for whatever kind of health concerns within the last 4 years, and now they have people just selling food out of a cooler on the street? Doesn't really seem logical. I don't see how anybody can look at that and accept instructions from the same people. But it is getting cooler in New York. You know, winter is coming. Eric Adams' Goose is going to be cooked over this turkey business, I think. It was interesting that Sal Greco was commenting that this article in the City, that it was reading like an indictment. And I think he's right. I think what he meant was it contains sufficient detail of the theory of the crime and supporting evidence that you could basically just hand it to a prosecutor like Damian Williams, and he could present it to a grand jury, and boom, you'd have your indictment. And then that seems to me what's going to happen, or at least that's what Sal seemed to suggest he felt would happen, and I tend to agree. We've heard Damian Williams say there are superseding indictments waiting for Eric Adams. And I think there are many schemes, many indictments. The straw donor scheme is a broad explanation of this just notion that you get these people to represent that they paid $250 or less than $250 to the Eric Adams campaign. And then every $250, every dollar is matched 8 to 1. So he's stealing millions and millions of dollars by just coming up with these fake straw donors. I think by any means he can muster. So it's these Chinese workers at the mall that we heard about in that article. I think there's going to be who's involved with that charity. There's going to be maybe if there's homeless people, can they, who even knows who these names are of the people who are making the donations? I think in some cases they're questioning that. Like, are they valid names? Real people. Anyway, that's Eric Adams' turkey problem. The turkey problem is they're giving money in the form of campaign gifts of, that's the whole thing where they send them there first class and $40,000 worth of plane tickets and hotel rooms that he says is essentially the same as a shrimp cocktail. And then he gave the Turkish consulate, he allowed them to open the building without a certificate of occupancy from the fire department. That's smart, having the burger truck outside the weed store. Pretty smart. Yeah, so the weed trucks are gone. Weed World is put out of business by Eric Adams, or that sheriff who's now also been indicted. Because he just basically closed down the weed stores and kept the money. It's an interesting approach to law enforcement. Just to sort of be a bigger thief. I feel like that guy's been asleep for days. Someone should check if he's alive. It seemed like he was moving. And I guess most people don't even care if he's alive. So that's interesting. Something's going on over there. I mean, why? If people are migrants in that hotel, why do they need the army to do whatever they're doing there? I mean, if I can walk up and in 5 seconds tell that those guys are like undercover scoping out the hotel, they suck at what they're doing. And what are they doing? This looks like a new pizza place. Have Captain America in there advertising. I don't know why. People just do whatever the hell they want.
It's a little different with our guys.
Huh. Do we have confidence that the people who set that up know what they're doing? Is this Elon Musk? Yeah, so this Doge thing, I mean, it seems pretty obvious that some Democrat lawyer douche is going to now try to sue them for promoting the Doge coin with that. I wonder. Can you even? It's just so funny how trolling is so built in. I like that. Undeniably funny. But it is interesting because they've set a deadline on it to do it by, when did they say, 2026 sometime? Yeah, for the 250th anniversary. July 4th, I think they said. Here's Japanese brunch. Look at this. strange, isn't it? You're gonna have strawberries and cake for brunch? Maybe that's Japanese. Oh yeah, and then this is Krispy Kreme now. You get a lot of coffee and donuts over here. And then salty chicken. Oh, I almost forgot to tell everybody, there's been kind of a pretty big, huge deal in the world of counter lawfare. I really do need to do a counter lawfare episode about this. George's brother, as I've told people, had many lawsuits against me simultaneously. In around 2021 or 2, he started bringing these lawsuits. So, is this date accurate? I think the first one was in Michigan, because I've spoken about before how I believe that looks pretty nice. Fancy sushi. It's open 7 days. So he brought this case against a fake named entity that he's trying to trick me into getting into court and hiring attorneys for, that he made up to try to sound like a company I used to own. It's called Multimedia System Design Inc., doing business as Crowdsource the Truth. It's a false entity that doesn't exist, but he succeeded in convincing the Emmys that they could sue that. And then Jonathan Snyder successfully tricked me into representing that thing in court when I told him it wasn't a real company, rather than saying, you know what, let's wait and see if he's able to serve this, and if you don't get served, you're not in the lawsuit. He didn't say that. He dove me in there head first, stole dozens of thousands of dollars. In my opinion, what he did was theft. That hasn't been proven in court. And he tanked the case. So that was so successful for George's brother, he tried to sue that thing again in Michigan. But why Michigan? Because remember, there's this whole issue with the filing. In this case that was ostensibly between George and CNN. That was Swigert versus Cable News Network. George Webb suing CNN for saying he's a conspiracy theorist or something. I forget the details of it. It was absolutely stupid. And it was also clear to me that it was some kind of game for those two idiots to bring me into court. And so I became involved, and there was this whole issue, people may recall, with the filing on the docket that is ECF number 12, electronic court filing number 12, in the Eastern District of Michigan in Swigert v. Cable News Network. I say it's forged, and I've presented my evidence, but that's never been adjudicated. It's been kicked out and said, we're not going to talk about this. But no judge has, kind of completed a case on the merits and said, yes, this is correct, or no, this is incorrect. And so it's sort of this dangling, and I think dangerous to their stupid array of schemes, bit of evidence that, I think George's brother wants to clean up by having it adjudicated in Michigan. So that's why he brought that case, and he wants it to happen through an attorney so that the more he drags it out, the more it costs me money, and he can put pressure on that attorney and they can quit. And he knows no attorney will talk to me without first giving them $10,000, and he did succeed in draining another 10 to an asshole attorney in Michigan to, the first time this came up. But he's not able to do that anymore. And so the thing that happened is that Michigan case got consolidated into another case that he had brought against me in New York. And he was never able to serve the Michigan case, which is why he got kicked out and sent to New York. And he didn't actually serve it to that fake entity in New York. He just sort of like stuffed it in there with this weird process of consolidating it. And Judge Colt, I think, understands what's going on and allowed me to correct the caption and say, no, get this fake entity out of here. I'm the proper party that he's trying to sue. And that was good. The judge did not say, oh no, you have to hire a lawyer for this fake thing. The judge got it. So the fake thing is out. The Michigan evidence is still dangling there. I'd like to use that to put those idiots in jail. I don't really have the ability to do that as far as I know. But I'm not a lawyer. Maybe you are. So the thing that just happened is there's another case that his brother brought against me in Indiana, where he was upset that an image of their father with a penis on his nose, here's a Lucid Air. This car would not exist if it wasn't for the Saudi sovereign wealth fund and them needing to do something with billions of dollars of US debt. And so they're investing in that. It's interesting. Oh yeah, so it was walking through this park that created that insane radio problem last time. There's a scary looking lady. But I want to see more of this Christmas stuff. We'll take a different route.
Sorry. From like a city go to
Boy, it really is a filled up Christmas village. Oh, that guy's making faces and all kinds of shit. What's his problem? It's like a crazy, that's like a Democrat. That dude's ready to snap. Stupid weirdo. This is pretty empty, honestly, for right now. My son got why? Something weird is happening in this park. Getting interference like crazy. Huh. I guess maybe all these things are using Wi-Fi and maybe not everybody is. Yeah, here's an ATM that's not usually here. They must have all kinds of weird radio stuff installed here that's not normally here. This is all new. I've never seen them have this like this before. They make this like the Olympic Village or something.
This is nothing about this.
Yeah, there's a lot of angry, sketchy, crazy-looking people walking around still. So, welcome to that. There's puppets. I must say, I do like puppets. That is well done. Silly puppets. 35 bucks. It seems pretty reasonable for such a detailed. Oh no, they get more. 65 large puppets. Got it. That's pretty nice for a kid. Somebody's probably making that in China for 2 cents. Huh. Oops.
So that's the person
Yeah, so Eric Adams, I think, is destined to get his yoke cracked or something. That dude's in a lot of trouble. Now, what is this? We got a trans R2-D2. This is crazy. People buying this trans Star Wars crap? That's ridiculous. Chewbacca shaving his legs. That was, you know, we had to shave down Liz Cheney to play Chewbacca. Somebody wanted me to test out the stinky French cheese sandwich. I don't think so. It smells like a foot. I don't want to eat that. So it was over here before that the radio was insane. I think it was further in the center by that bank pavilion. Maybe all that stuff on the ice skating rink. Chopstick art. Yeah, definitely looking for some chopstick art. How could that miss? That's pretty stupid. Actually, I think the hotel, I gotta go up the other way. You got funnel cake over there. Let's let me just go.
And so you come back.
The second day that I was there,
Moo Moo Bath? What the hell is that? Wow, some of these are like fancy little mini stores. Interesting. That's the Winter Village, Bank of America. It's definitely gotten much more money behind that. That makes sense. No smoking in there, but I bet people don't listen to that. Yeah, so this Department of Government Efficiency, I don't know how they're going to do that. Hopefully they can do something good. People are going to hate them. And so, okay, Matt Gaetz, people are freaking out. It definitely seems like Trump has a plan, right? This, what is it, absentee appointment or something, going to do something to jam those appointees in. Why not? If there's a way to win at that game and he's figured it out, that would be pretty interesting. I mean, it certainly seems better than the obstructionist crap where they just prevent anybody from doing the job forever. Yeah, this is this driving around tea room. Tea around town. You go in there, it's very British, I'm sure. Sit upstairs. Oh, you can see they're having cake and tea. How much money could you make with that? How many people fit in that bus? Well, maybe they just love tea and want to introduce New York to tea. Let's see, where are we here? Yeah, very puzzling what is going on over there at the Walcott. Where's the Roosevelt? Is it on 40? Did I pass it already?
sai mais perto, um pouco mais.
New York in the fall. Can't beat it. It's getting a little bit cold, but still not bad. Ah, this is a cannabis dispensary and lounge. Boy, that is interesting.
Yeah. And then you've got twins.
I haven't seen any. Actually, I guess they do have lounges in them, but people aren't usually lounging there. Interesting how quickly the Eric Adams regime shut down the competitive criminal operations. Now we're not checking out the row. That seems to be the popular spot for machete fights. This thing over here, I don't know, it's like we've got our different crime specialties at the different hotels. Child smuggling coming from the Walcott Hotel, with the army over there doing what? And getting right into the car when I start asking him. We have some dumb people in the army. Why didn't he walk down the street and not associate himself more closely with that car, where he could have maybe argued someday that he didn't know who that guy was and was just chatting with him? Now he got into his car. Seems stupid. By the way, this Hyatt hotel over here, this was the one that Trump revitalized for Hyatt before he started marketing his own name for hotels. He's talking to Jared Beck about that in the deposition, the 2013 deposition, where Jared Beck is asking him about Felix Sater. So yeah, going back to this idea of, you know, is somebody monitoring candidates? Was Felix Sater on Trump going back as far as 2000? I mean, that's what Trump says in the deposition, that that's approximately when he becomes acquainted with him. Now, isn't it up there? Where is the hotel? Yeah, it's right up here. So, I mean, now we've got this guy coming out to testify from Turkey against Eric Adams. And Flynn was doing business in Turkey. Some idiot was commenting on X, like, oh yeah, everybody who does business in Turkey is related to Eric Adams or whatever. But no, what I'm saying is Flynn seems to be quite connected to or concerned with things that I say about Felix Sater. And he seems to be a foreign businessman who's hanging around Trump and a source of a lot of problems and testimony and blah, 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 who also seems to have signed a deal with the FBI, CIA, DIA, depending on who you ask, etc. And now we have this dude from Turkey who the Los Angeles Magazine tells us is also a CIA asset. So he just seems a lot like Felix Sater coming around now to testify against Eric Adams. So, I mean, is somebody controlling that? Like somebody, Valerie Caproni, Andrew Weissman, Norm Eisen style? Like, is this how these guys work? They have levers they pull on people? And if they want you to be investigated or jammed up in court or testified against or lose all your money to a lawyer, lose your business, lose your ability to broadcast, whatever they want, it kind of seems like they have a lot of ability to do stuff like that. Who's this? MTA police.
He's gonna leave now. He's gonna go and
That Life building used to be the Pan Am building. You could take helicopters from that. There's cops. What's going on over here? Huh. Something going on with radio stuff. Good thing I took these precautions today. So this is the Roosevelt Hotel right here coming up around the corner. Look at this fancy fine dining inside here. Omakase room. And then here, we also have the Army doing something that we don't really know. And remember, NYPD schmuck Orrin Levi, he was always over here kind of like, oh, migrant this, migrant that. Never said anything about the Army operating something right inside here. You can see the lights are on there, and we've got the state police. But we really don't know what's going on. Oh yeah, we see people in there. Somebody's in there wearing a COVID mask. Who's that? Somebody is looking at the door there. See that? Hands on the door. So we don't know what's going on in there. Very, very strange. Very strange. State police, not really normally seen, just parked on the streets. That dude is eating pizza. Very strange. See, they casually don't want their faces to be seen. Texas. We got a Tesla all the way here from Texas.
Yeah, I think we should do that. I think it would be a good next step. So I'll talk to him, this afternoon. All right, appreciate it, buddy. I'll talk to you.
Igloo food. All these businesses are out because nobody in their right mind wants to be hanging out in this neighborhood anymore. It's just all filled up with gangs and stuff.
Thanksgiving, I don't have to do anything at school anyway.
Yeah, I mean, they're just like over there cooking food or something. It smells like a barbecue.
Yeah,
Different little pockets of sketchy activity. It's really something else. I think these police are here because this is a bank or something that was having protests. I don't think they actually care about public safety or anybody other than the bank. Well, so we still have some sort of army business happening. I'd really like to know, what is the connection between the Army and these migrant hotels? Why do we need the Army to do that? And if we have all these nonprofits, how does that work? And what's going to happen now when Trump comes in? I mean, if this is screwy business, hopefully he puts an end to it. there have been times that we've seen kind of a lot more activity over here. This is this Army facility. You know, it was a restaurant. It was a diner.
Okay, in fairness.
Yeah.
That actually might have been legitimate coolers that look different than the ones they're selling that come into a catering hall here. It's kind of an old Jaguar at this point. Well, that was sort of the circuit there. Check out a couple of the hotels and see. Doesn't look like we're seeing this so-called self-deporting. I don't know. Has Eric Adams been indicted since I left? I think it's going to happen. He's done so much more than just this turkey business. He's a turkey. He's going to get his goose cooked. Definitely the Daily News has been on top of it. Yeah, Trump slams Hochul to revive the congestion tax. It'll hurt workers and businesses and families. He's right. It's stupid. We want to have less friction for people to doing business in New York City, not more. You know, making everything conducive to crime and not business. That's stupid. Yeah, so I mean, if these politicians, and if we're talking about Eric Adams, Kamala Harris, Barack Obama, whoever it is that they have under control, when they get out of control, maybe they get the Eric Adams treatment. You start getting indicted. Sandwiches and snacks. Yeah, so see, somebody was getting upset that they felt that Christmas was coming too early, but I think basically in New York, after Halloween, it's just kind of a simultaneous Thanksgiving / Christmas, you know, push that starts, and then just Thanksgiving happens and that part drops off, and then you just keep with the Christmas. So I didn't really find that unusual. I don't think. And now also people are wondering about what's going on with Juan Merchan. I'm seeing Jonathan Turley and Dersh, all the bigwigs, you know, lawyer people who go on the news. And I think they don't get it. I think what's happening is when you have these lawfare cases that get turned upside down for whatever reason, where it doesn't work, and the target resists the lawfare attack, sometimes the judge finds themselves in a spot. Oh, I forgot to give the big payoff on what was happening with George's brother. That's what I couldn't remember. People have got to be frustrated, but we'll get back to that. But when the target resists the lawfare attack, sometimes these judges don't know what to do, and I think they just go into this kind of like abeyance. They just put the thing on hold because they can. I mean, there's not really too many of the things that work like that where the person, the crooked person controlling it has that much control over it. But right, so the thing that happened that was super big is the third case is, there was this image of their father with a dick on his nose that David didn't like. So he initiated a lawsuit in Indiana. I'm not exactly sure why, maybe just to be a pain in the ass, or I think it was to access some esoteric aspect of some law in Indiana that differed in some way from New York or whatever. But he, because all of his actions are defective and just calculated to annoy me, he got kicked out of Indiana, and that came to New York. And then so that was dangling there. And in the judge's order on his other cases, he said, hey, this stupid defective thing is dangling over here and you're doing nothing with it. What is this idiot driving a bicycle right towards the crowd? So anyway, when the judge said that, I realized, yeah, right, this thing is just sitting there. And I moved to dismiss it for failure to prosecute, which I think was something I should have done a long time ago. Maybe the judge was even looking at it and wondering, what the hell is wrong with Jason? Why isn't he moving to dismiss this thing for failure to prosecute? And the answer to that question would be, I'm not an attorney, and I don't know about these things. And so that occurred to me, and I looked it up, and sure enough, you can do it. Rule 41B talks about that. And we'll see. That entered on the docket. And hopefully, the judge will find in my favor and dismiss that case for failure to prosecute. Now, the other thing is, today is the day that George's brother was supposed to present. We're doing this whole 26F discovery thing, and he's been obstructing that. Wants to talk to me about family issues, his stupid brother. But anyway, now he's got other motions that he's entered. So there's one case, basically, that's surviving in New York. And, he's going to continue to use that to try to harass me. And it reminds me, there's a lot of, all these lawyers that are weighing in on the Mershon case and everything to say, oh, well, the lawfare failed, so it's over, right? No. They're off recalculating, well, what can we do next? They don't know, possibly. And that's why he just put the thing in abeyance. But that's what they're trying to figure out, is what the hell to do with this next. What's the next piece of lawfare we can bring? What's the next stupid, sue him for giving out $1 million? Don't approach me, you fat weirdo. Anyway, please sponsor the show. Go to odyssey.com/@crowdsource the truth. That's the most economical way to do it. Look at that. Isn't that a weird bus? Just a big blue double-decker ad for Stripe. So the streets look kind of empty right now, to tell you the truth. Hence, Ghost Town. It still is. Ghost Town, NYC. No rioting. There was just a little bit the first day or something, right? And see, it's become super obvious. It's covered by the same, independent journalists who they magically get NYPD. Is this closed? Dear patients and caregivers, as of July 20th, it's closing all of its dispensaries, including The locations listed below. Wow, all New York MedMen dispensaries are closing before it ever opened for recreational. This was the very first one here. And it only was ever doing, people with the medical prescription. They had always said that they were going to. So there's something going on with how they're dishing out these licenses, because that MedMen, that's a premium one from LA. I remember when I was living in LA, that thing had big, giant places and billboards on the highway and everything. And then when they opened here, I was like, And I went in there and I said, is weed legal in New York? And they said, no, only with a prescription. That was like when the Weed World trucks started showing up. So again, I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a weed dispensary owner. I don't know what the deal is with all the laws around all of that. But I remember right before the subprime crisis, I just noticed the number of banks opening and merging, and I was like, what the hell is going on with all the banks? And then that financial crash happened. So I don't know, something screwy is going on with the way they were giving out weed licenses in New York City. And again, it comes back to Eric Adams. You remember, he had his padlock to protect where he was sniffing all the weed at that big event. What an idiot. This guy must be in the cabinet. Eric Adams' advisors. Yeah, so I was watching earlier Alex Jones saying, they're closing down. It does sound like a screwy deal that they gave him there. And the Onion bought it? That's really stupid. What are they going to do? Comedy on InfoWars? It's actually not funny. But I don't think anybody likes the Onion anymore, right? That's from Harvard, wasn't it? The one that people like is the Babylon Bee. I think that sort of took over as being actually funny. There's the Langham Hotel, not the same as the one in London. They have a fancy Italian restaurant in there, I bet you those guys were going to. French cream donut, wow. That looks filled with cream. Here's a electric Chevy Bolt or Volt for the cops, NYPD traffic, the do-nothing cops. They should all be fired. Yeah, there's a lot of ways. I hope those guys are able to get some government efficiency going. There was an Australian sheepdog or shepherd or whatever they are. Yeah, that would be nice, wouldn't it? Maybe make people have to pay less taxes. I wouldn't mind that. Who would? I've eaten at this Black Tap burger place. I think the burger was okay. Their big deal is that they make insane. That's the place with the half a cake shoved in the milkshake. And you had to wait like incredible amounts of time to get the milkshake, I remember. Line and everything out the door for that place. They need a better milkshake output capacity if they're going to be in the insane milkshake business and have that much demand. Now look at this crazy police camera. What the hell is this thing doing? Oh yeah, they announced that the police are going to start using drones. Seems like a waste of time. What are they going to have drones flying all around? They're going to crash. The police are idiots. I'm sure that's just somebody owns a drone company sending money to that. Here's the Empire State Building. Yeah, they've got the entire ground floor here basically vacant of the Empire State Building. It's kind of a disgrace. You know, that's typically a giant restaurant or something like that. There's a ton of tourists coming to the Empire State Building. That's premium real estate. That doesn't usually go unrented. But it just speaks to how crappy the city is right now. What do people think about Matt Gaetz? Is he going to be a good attorney general? You know, the last time I saw Matt Gaetz was at that same Trump dinner, the Young Republicans dinner, and he kind of basically, I think I must have been asking him about the Twitter coup document, because when I gave it to him, he initially expressed interest, and even, you know, I walked into his office and he recognized me and said, read that guy's report. I was handing another copy of it to somebody else in his office, so I thought, oh wow. So he read it and is interested in it. But then I spoke to him at that dinner briefly, and he just sort of was like, well, yeah, can't help you, see ya. And it kind of shined me off. He wasn't really that friendly, but I still think he might be a good attorney general as far as arresting people who actually need to be arrested. I hope. And a lot of people are saying like, oh, they did this 2 days before, you know, this House Ethics Committee was going to release a report about him. I see, it sounds like what he's done might have been strictly legal, but ethics is what it's getting to. Was it ethical? And so by leaving Congress, they're saying they no longer can investigate him or do anything with this. And so we know that the Department of Justice already investigated it. It was insufficient for them to bring criminal charges against him. And then he also married Palmer Luckey's sister in the midst of all of this. So I don't know. I hope that that's it does seem like a very carefully thought through and worked out thing. So again, if it's transactional, so long as it gets us to where it needs to go, namely, like let's start prosecuting James Comey, let's start prosecuting Valerie Caproni, Andrew Weissman, Norm Eisen, Ben Wittes. I'll be all right with it if it's transactional and that happens. Pretty crowded over here. Got Legos up there. And then Marco Rubio is Secretary of State. I don't know, it seems a weird choice. Hopefully Trump did that just to get him out of the Senate, and something clever is planned there, because I don't think I really like Marco Rubio. Yeah, see, this is this place called Haiti. Is that a joke about the country of Haiti? Because it seems stupid. And I don't see anybody Haitian in there working. They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. That kind of went away, huh? I'm surprised we don't have that bouncy house back. That thing is, I guess, a Christmas attraction now.
I was so tired last night.
See, these people are wearing masks to hide their identities so they can do crimes without anybody, you know, they can't get in trouble. It really needs to go back to being illegal to walk around wearing a mask. Now, this is where they had everybody corralled for the Madison Square Garden rally. Squid Game is coming back. Oh, the Squid Game experience is going to be inside there. So I guess you get to live it. I think they tried that and it was like dangerous or something. People were getting, they had some reality show where people were, you know, testing the limits or whatever, and they start to sue the producers of the show for killing people or whatever. Yeah, so they had everybody corralled down here. I feel like this fence is new since then. I don't think too many of the people who are corralled over here actually wound up getting in to that event. Two sold out. Rowdy Rooster, Indian fried chicken. That's new to me. Oh, we'll get one last pass at a hotel here. That guy's looking for an insurance claim, driving that fast in his Mercedes around New York City. But yeah, this hotel, Stewart, has had tons of people hanging outside it lately. I've seen this elsewhere in the city, Le Botaniste, plant-based food. That's Eric Adams. He wanted everybody to have a plant-based life, if you recall. One of his great ideas. Right, Mike Tyson. Back to this, fighting Jake Paul. I think he's going to get flattened, but we'll see. Jake Paul does seem to take boxing training seriously. And like I said, I think he's better than I expected him to be. I don't know if that makes him a good boxer or capable of beating Mike Tyson. I don't think so, but we'll soon find out. Oh yeah, no, there's the hotel on the next corner. That Mike Tyson fight, I think, is tomorrow night. Yeah. Oh, maybe during the show with Cohen. I hope Mike Tyson will not cannibalize Cullen views. People can still sponsor the show and enjoy Mike Tyson. Yeah, so we already see we've got this new generation of street kids who just hang out and they think they can do whatever they want because they see their parents doing whatever they want. Selling crap, riding bicycles on the sidewalk. Those look like little kids wearing makeup. How old are those little kids? That's very weird. See, I don't know what the hell is going on around here. But seem to always have the police here now. Yeah, so that's pretty much the last stop on the hotel circuit here. But that was interesting. I don't see too much self-deporting going on. I think Eric Adams is in some trouble. We'll see what happens to that guy. Professional dunce slash New York City Mayor. Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. Please become a sponsor of the show. It's super important. Now that Trump's going to be president again, you know, help me keep Crowdsource the Truth around. So yeah, so I put in this motion. It's a counter lawfare win. I don't see how the judge is going to deny it. As a matter of fact, I'll go check the docket when I get back. Maybe they've already said yes. The case has been sitting there since April. I should have done this months ago. But you know, when you don't know, you don't know. Not a lawyer. But thanks to everybody who has been sponsoring the show, make it possible for me to get involved in this counter lawfare stuff. Most economical way to do it is odyssey.com/@crowdsourcethetruth for as little as $3 a month. You're going to get access to the sponsor exclusive content. Help keep the show going. You can also go to crowdsourcethetruth.substack.com or subscribestar.com or patreon.com/crowdsourcethetruth. Look at all this stuff out of business. And then there we have a brand new building. Makes very little sense. To me, I don't know. Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody.